Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Mike Amos, and and of course it is thank goodness it's Wednesday, I would say. It's Hump Day in Pike County, Alabama, and of course getting ready to what now? October the 5th, yeah. But it is Hump Day, and hope you're doing well this morning on a brisk, cool Wednesday out there. It's the weather is very conducive for outdoor activity up until at least noon today. Beautiful Wednesday going to be, and of course we're getting ready for a big college football game this weekend as the Trojans of Troy University go head-to-head with Southern Mississippi. Of course, it's the same Southern Mississippi that have been very good for a long time, and of course, they're developing into quite a rivalry with Troy and Southern Mississippi. And of course, Southern Mississippi, coached by Will Hall, is a very good football team. And I'll tell you this: if you want to see a good one, Saturday night at the is going to be the place to be in Troy, Alabama, on the campus of Troy University. Tremendous as far as tickets are going fast, and this is going to be one heck of a football game. Of course, Georgia and Auburn. We've got a big game at 2:30 on CBS from the hedges of Georgia, and of course it's always tough to beat Georgia between the hedges. And this year Auburn will run into a pretty fired up Georgia Bulldog team that have not played very well in the last two ball games, and of course Auburn, year in and year out, has always played Georgia tough, and I look for that to be the case this Saturday in Athens, and of course it's going to be a heck of a football game. Again, that kickoff is 2:30 CBS. Alabama and Texas A&M tee off against each other in Tuscaloosa this Saturday afternoon, or this Saturday night. Primetime television at 7 p.m. on CBS. So Alabama and Texas A&M have primetime television starting at 7 o'clock for the game between Texas A&M and Alabama. Troy kicks off at 6 p.m. against their rival Southern Mississippi, and the Golden Eagles will be coming to town, and it should be quite a football game. Their kickoff is 6 o'clock, so they're an hour ahead of Auburn and an hour ahead of Alabama and Texas A&M. So shouldn't be any problem there. And of course, again, we're looking forward to a big crowd at in Troy. Yesterday afternoon, and some of you people have already witnessed this, that at the end of the stadium, and it might be a good wait for Mike Amos to come on, from his perches at in Northwest Florida. I watched something that was just very unique. They're putting a sign up where the picture of riding by the football stadium, and you look over to the left. First thing you used to see a big football helmet and a guy wearing a football helmet, and it was quite unique to see them take that down yesterday, and they put up a new sign, and it's a picture of when Troy played in a football game. I would say about four or 5 years ago. They pulled out a American flag that covered the entire field. It covered the entire field, and that was one of one of the very few times that flag has been used at a football game, and it was just quite a thing to see. Well, now when you ride by the stadium on your way to Pike, on your way to Charleston High School, you're riding around that curve. You'll see this beautiful, beautiful canvas that shows that tremendous flag, and it's quite something to see. And they're not completed with it, but when they do, it is going to really, really. Good morning on our show. Good morning, Mike.
Today in LA.
Until today in LA, and of course brought to you by our good friends at Troy Bank and Trust Company. Mike, good morning to you.
You saw Roger Maris hit 61. Judge broke the American League record, 62 home runs last night.
He did. Well, good. I didn't see it though. I don't know what happened to me. Evidently, I went to sleep. Watch it.
Actually, when he hit the home run, a guy actually jumped out of the bleachers in the outfield. I don't know if he broke his leg trying to get the ball in case the fans dropped it. And they're saying that ball is worth $2 million right now.
And that guy got the ball?
No, that guy jumped out of the stands hoping they would drop it. And no telling how far he fell. I watched it on ESPN. Yeah. He probably fell 15 feet.
Oh, man.
Trying to get the ball. The Judge hit 62 last night. A lot of people think that's the home run record due to what, Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire and Barry Bonds are accused of during the steroid era. But, the record's 73 by Bonds. McGwire hit 70. Sosa hit, I think, 66 one year. But Judge now has 62 home runs, which is the all-time home run leader in American League history.
Well, I'm looking at today's Dothan Eagle, and they have nothing in here about that. No, wait a minute. Judge shows frustration still. They've got a little article in this prior to last night. It says Judge shows frustration still 61 homers with 2 games left. It says Aaron Judge slammed his helmet in a rare show of frustration, and the Yankees slugger remained at 61 home runs with two games left. But last night you were claiming that he got the big hit. Judge went.
It was all over national TV. They broke into, live coverage. Every single one of his bats were live.
Yeah.
So everybody was able to watch it last night.
Don't you know that was a lot of pressure on him? I wonder who did he hit it off of, Mike? Do you know the pitcher?
I have to pull that up.
He'll be famous too.
Yeah, I was trying to get pulled up on Zoom.
But did it show a fan actually getting the ball, Mike?
Yeah, a fan in the stands called it. I don't know who the fan was.
And you said that could be worth $2 million?
That's what they're saying.
Golly, well, you reckon how that fan kept that ball away from everybody? Did you think people had been reaching in there trying to get it?
Oh, I'm sure there was a fight for it, to say the least.
Oh, boy. I tell you.
You can only imagine, some guys would try to give it, some fans would try to give it to the player, and the player would probably agree to terms to give him money and maybe season tickets, something like that. But somebody that has no connection to the Yankees whatsoever, it's just all about the money. No telling how much people were paying for those seats in the outfield.
Oh, boy, no question. Did he pull it out? Did he jerk it out of there? Was it left field?
He hit it in the left field. He's right-handed hitter.
And this article was two games ago, and then last night, Mike said last night he actually broke it and hit
tell Steve I'm on Zoom if he wants to buzz me in.
Yeah, Mike's on Zoom if you want to buzz him in this morning.
But yeah, Judge is just a giant guy, 6'7", 280 pounds.
Yeah.
What was Maris? Probably like 6'2", about 180?
No, he wasn't that tall. He was probably 5'11".
Yeah, of course.
Ian Mantle both. Mantle was about 5'11", 6 foot.
Yeah, he was battling with Mantle all year on the home run record, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. And they were roommates. You know, it was really tough. And boy, we got a big week.
I was a nervous wreck because the Braves were battling the Marlins last night to win the East.
Did they win the East? Did they win the East?
Yeah, they won. But the guy that they were going against was a big Troy connection. The Garrett kid went against the Braves last night.
Oh, did he? Did he pitch well?
He went 5 innings and struck out 7.
Golly.
And only gave up 1 run. But the issue was he had too many walks.
Oh, he did walk a bunch of batters. So you reckon his daddy called him up and said, "Look, let the Braves win."
I doubt that. But his ERA, for the year was only like 3.6, which is good for a starting pitcher.
Oh yeah. So
he'll definitely be back and be a factor next year.
And what's his name again, Mike? So let everybody know who it is.
It's Braxton Garrett.
Yeah. And who is his mom and daddy?
It's the Ingalls family and Levi Garrett.
Yeah, I know, and Levi Garrett. And, of course, he was former baseball coach here at Charles Census High School, won a state championship, and played for Chase Riddle. Very, very well known. Of course, his mother still lives in Troy, Mike, I think.
Well, the last time...
this kid's grandmother.
The last time they faced Garrett struck out 11 Braves, so he pitched well against the Braves all year.
He sure has. And
the Braves clinched the East, so now they'll have time to rest up a little bit. It's pretty amazing they caught the Mets. The Mets at one time were up by 11 games.
Oh, me. And did they? What it even? The Braves swept the Mets over the weekend, and that kind of gave them a 2-game cushion. Yeah, so they
only had to win one game.
So the Braves are the region the champs then of the
of the East.
Of the East, that's right. We'll be watching that, and then of course the playoffs starts Friday, don't they?
They'll play. The wild card games will start. I'll have to look up all that information.
Yeah.
Last games are today, and then the wild cards will start. So I'll have to try to figure out when all that starts. I want to say they start on Monday.
Yeah. Boy, we got a lot of good football games to look at this weekend.
Yeah, due to the hurricane, there's actually a football game tonight. Pretty good game, actually. Central Florida will host SMU.
Oh, really? Now SMU's coach is in trouble, isn't he?
Interesting story on that game is the great Rhett Lashley, Auburn's former offensive coordinator, played high school ball in the Gus Malzahn. Lashley's the head coach at SMU, and he'll be going up against his former, coach, Gus Malzahn in Central Florida.
Oh yeah, okay. And this guy Lashley, where did he coach last?
I mean, he was offensive coordinator in Miami. This is his first head coach.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. And
see, Dykes left SMU and went to TCU, and now TCU's having a great season. And then Lashley is now, the head coach of SMU.
That's right. Yeah, I got you. Of course, we've got Georgia in Athens against Auburn. They got Texas A&M in Tuscaloosa against Alabama. And we got Troy in Troy against Southern Miss. Got a big weekend of college football.
Yeah. You also have a crazy line in that Auburn-Georgia game. It's 30.
What?
Yeah, 30 points.
I'm not a bettor, but I should say that. I've been a bettor before, but I'm not a bettor anymore. I would think that would be a sure bet. Auburn's going to play them at least fairly tough, Mike. I believe that is the best bet on the board.
Well, makes you wonder.
Take Auburn in 30.
Makes you wonder. I mean, Auburn seems like with Tate Bisbee and their running backs and athletic quarterbacks that they could probably try to run the clock.
Yeah. They're going to have a plan.
A whole lot.
And they're going to play very well. They're going to play very well in that game. Let me tell you, this quarterback, for Auburn is talented, Mike.
Yeah,
he's a kid out of Birmingham, isn't he?
Yeah, he played at Hoover High School.
Yeah, Hoover High School in Birmingham, and he's their quarterback, and he can make some things happen, I believe. You know.
Well, I mean, he threw for 330 yards against LSU.
Sure did. And then Texas A&M. What is Alabama points against Texas A&M?
Well, I mean, Vegas doesn't know who's going to be the quarterback for Alabama, so right now it's at 24.
Yeah. Well, what is the situation?
24 is a lot, though.
What have you heard about the quarterback situation?
Well, I mean, he's got a shoulder sprain, and you know, it's just a matter of how quickly it heals. I'm thinking they'll keep him out because Alabama will travel to Knoxville next weekend to play an undefeated Tennessee team. It looks like.
Yeah. Well, that
Tennessee game on the road. I think in a home environment you could play Milroy and come up with enough of a package to hopefully win. Maybe not a blowout, but a closer game to A&M, and then hopefully you'll have Bryce Young back to play. Against Tennessee on the road.
Well,
on the road in front of 100,000 fans would be a lot tougher environment.
Now, there's no question this backup quarterback at Alabama is very athletic. I mean, he's a horse now. I mean, he's big.
Like
you're right. He looked, and he's what is 6'2" or 6'3"? How tall is he?
Yeah, he's 6'2" or 6'3".
And he can run. And I mean, Alabama's going to be strong with this guy. It's replacing him, but you never can tell. This is a big game too.
Is Alabama just strictly run the ball? They've got really good running backs, really athletic quarterback. I mean, maybe throw the tight end a little bit, maybe take a few deep shots, but A&M's been a big disappointment. I don't know, if Alabama's got to throw it up and down the field or not again.
Yeah. Well, and at the same time, this was very similar to last year. They weren't considered, didn't give a chance in beating Alabama last year, and they did. They put it on.
The line was real similar last year.
Yeah. Actually. And they got beat.
I'll never forget that game. Alabama actually took the lead by 7 with 5 minutes left. And you felt for sure at worst it was going to go to overtime. Next thing you know, A&M scores 10 points and wins the game.
And gets a quarterback that's at Auburn. You reckon is he eligible to play? Is he ready to play?
No, he's had he just gave up the year. He just had surgery on his shoulder, so he's not going to be available the rest of the year.
Yeah. Boys, we got some good games coming up, and
Auburn. Auburn's basically with Ashford, and I don't know if T.J. Finley's going to even come back, or if he's been, disgruntled with the program, going to get in the transfer portal. But I don't think Finley will play anymore for Auburn.
Yeah. What do you hear about Troy as quarterback?
Well, they said Gunnar Watson is probable, according to Summerall's press conference I watched. So that means Daggy, I don't think will get the start. He said Cholo went out, was injured. KJ Robinson went out, was injured. So that's 2 starters right there that he said he thinks is probable. And then McDonald, the great linebacker, still out for an extended amount of time. The really good defensive tackle, Louis Medina's out for an extended amount of time.
Oh, man.
Troy's going to be missing some starters against Southern Miss. And then Southern Miss has got this Frank Gore Jr. His dad was one of the top running backs in the NFL, rushed for almost 16,000 yards.
Yeah, played for San Francisco.
And then played for San Francisco. But he's become a really great running back for Southern Miss.
And we're going to have to play tough defense.
I read yesterday that Southern Miss is starting a freshman quarterback, but he's had a good, he's been good so far to start the season.
Uh-huh. So has he played much this year already?
Yeah, he's been their starter. The guy that started against Troy last year was not there. I mean, or is the backup now.
Okay, boy. we've got a great game. Mike, I was telling the group out here. Who is the football player that they've got the canvas, a whole canvas on him at the stadium? Who was that player?
Kansas?
Yeah, he was from when you ride by the stadium, you look up to your left, you see a football player.
It's got to be Brett Favre at Southern Miss.
No, Mike, it's Troy, a Troy player that's been there for years.
The guy that played defensive end, Tyler Roberts.
Yeah, Tyler Roberts. It's been
played at Hoover.
Yeah, they've taken that down, and not out of very respectful of Tyler. He's a great player.
They put Marshall up.
No, what they've done, they put they're not completed with it, but let me tell you something. He was 40 feet high. This guy was working on that yesterday, trying to put this canvas up, and I would say at least 40 feet high, maybe 50 feet high. That's pretty high, isn't it?
I mean, you don't know who the player is going to be?
Yeah, well, no, it's not going to be a player up there. It's going to be a service person. But they were putting that canvas up, and they didn't finish it. But it has the do you know when Troy played and they had the U.S. flag that covered the entire field? Do you remember that? They covered the entire field. Well, that's the picture that they portray, and it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to really add to the stadium, and it should be ready to go by a kickoff or before kickoff this Saturday, and it's going to be beautiful for any people riding down the George Wallace behind the stadium. First thing they see will be this giant. It's a giant canvas with the flag that at that time I think when it showed in Troy, it was only the fifth time or maybe the third time that flag has ever been shown, because it showed the entire field. The flag, and it was just quite a spectacle. And they're going to renew those on that canvas. And so it'd be something to see. If you ride by there today, take a look at it. And, it's going to be very, very pretty.
Yeah, I was going to give a recap of the NFL. I was watching some NFL games when I was in Austin, Texas on Sunday. Thursday night, the Bengals beat the Dolphins 27-15. Of course, everybody's concerned about Tua. Tua suffered a horrible concussion. Probably shouldn't have been playing. They rolled Tua out for this week as well. Unfortunately, I think Tua played a little too early and sustained another concussion. I watched this game. I didn't know what was going on. It was like 10 o'clock. We were downtown Austin and go into a place and order a Bloody Mary. And I saw the football game on. And I saw the Saints were wearing a black helmet. And they were playing the Vikings. Next thing I know, I see it's live. They're playing in London.
Yeah.
And Saints field goal kicker made a 60-yarder to tie it, and then the Vikings made a 47-yard field goal with about 22 seconds left. The Saints lined up for a 61-yard field goal to tie it again. The guy hit the crossbar.
Oh, man.
Great game.
He kicked. He kicked. That would have been a record for one game, but 60 and 61.
For 60 and 61.
Yeah.
But the Vikings won 28-25 in London. Falcons had their first win. They beat the Browns 23-20. Cowboys under Cooper Rush, the backup quarterback for Dak Prescott. He's now undefeated as a starter, 25-10 over the Commanders. Seattle Seahawks won 40.
Michael, tell me a little bit about Cooper Rush. Who is Cooper Rush?
I think I looked him up the other day. I think he played like Central Michigan or something. I've never heard of him.
Yeah, but
Titans won at the Colts. Derrick Henry rushed for 120 yards. Big win for the Titans on the road. Giants continue to play well, beat the Bears 20-12. Jalen Hurts has the Philadelphia Eagles undefeated. They beat the Jaguars 29-21.
Did he do it throwing or running?
Oh, both. I mean, he's got A.J. Brown, the great wide receiver from Ole Miss. He's got Devontae Smith, the great wide receiver at Alabama. Jets won 24-20 over the Steelers. Bills won 23-20 over the Ravens. Chargers are better this year, won 34-24 over the Texans. Cardinals are playing well, 26-16 over the Panthers. Watch this game a little bit. Patriots had their third-string quarterback going against the Packers and only got beat 27-24. Raiders won their first game 32-23 over the Broncos. And then the Chiefs won 41-31 over Tom Brady. And then kind of surprising game here. The 49ers won big over the Rams, 24-9. The Rams have struggled out of the gate after winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. The quarterback, Mike, that played for New England, the third-string quarterback was the quarterback.
He played at Western Kentucky.
He played at Western Kentucky, the team that Troy just beat last year, and he shattered. I think he threw for over 5,000 yards in one season.
That's right.
Yeah, and now he's the backup quarterback at the Western Kentucky, and looked pretty good, didn't he? You reckon he's going to end up?
I mean, he's not a bad player. I don't think he's going to beat off Mac Jones.
Well, let me ask you this:
but he played well.
Mac Jones, when will he be back?
They said about 3 more weeks. Got a high ankle sprain.
Well, it's going to be tough.
I mean, the reason the Patriots were in it was Damian Harris, the former Alabama running back, had a good game.
Yeah.
He rushed for 86 yards and a touchdown. Yeah. They rushed for 167. They only threw for 104. Zappy was 10 for 15 for 99 yards. And then Hoyer, who got hurt, was 5 for 6 for 37 yards.
Mike, I want to briefly mention a few games of interest. In high school, real quick. The Charles Henderson and Eufaula is a huge game. Both teams are 5-1, and Charles Henderson travels to Eufaula, and it's going to be a tough one. But Coach Hambright. Nothing would surprise me about his ability to coach football. He is really an outstanding coach. And it's going to be a real test for Charles Henderson, Mike. And of course, a former All-American at Troy University is the head football coach at Eufaula.
Yeah, I mean, Terrell Jernigan was starting wide receiver for the Giants, too. I mean, until he got hurt. He was going to have a long NFL career. He played 3 or 4 years in the pros. They've got a big defensive tackle who's already signed with Alabama. Then they've got another guy that's signed major college. And, Ed Rigby was over there and built a program, and Robbie Jordan was a part of it, and Terrell Jernigan was a part of it. Jernigan got the head job when Rigby got the Pike Road job, and now Robbie Jordan's at Tatsuma. But, and what can you say about Eufaula? They've always had talent. They've always had huge, big kids.
Yeah.
They've always been good in football.
No question about it. And basketball, too, over the years. Everybody can't wait until 2 weeks when Andalusia 7-0 play Catholic 7-0. Both teams are look to be undefeated when they play each other in 2 weeks. Boy, that's going to be something. Andalusia and Catholic of Montgomery. Catholic of Montgomery, all they did this past weekend was score 72 points. I mean, they're shattering every scoring record in
I think they
high schools.
Revenge on Montgomery Academy. Montgomery Academy knocked them out of the playoffs a few years ago, and they beat Montgomery Academy 72-15.
Oh gosh, 72, and boy, those rich kids had a long ride home, didn't they? I say that about Montgomery Academy, and it's true. Most of them are real rich kids from Montgomery, and that private school. Another game that we're looking at is going to be Houston Academy is undefeated, and they've got a big game this week, and I was trying to. Evidently, they might have a week off because I don't see who they played this week. But Houston Academy is playing very well right now. Then, of course. St. James, the team that Charles Henderson beat a couple of weeks ago, is now ranked number 7th in the state, and in 4A, and they're a pretty good football team. And well, I know they're actually in 5A now, so they've got some good games ahead of them.
Well, I mean, this is the biggest deal about this. This is Charles Henderson's first road game.
Yeah. And before we get into that,
you're real dressed up. I finally can see you now. You got your blazer on. You're all dressed to the T.
I'm dressed up, but and of course, Forrest cannot be with us today. He'll be with us tomorrow for our Pickett show. Mike,
I was listening to Daggy in the press conference. On TroyTreasures.com. You can hear the press conference, and they interviewed Summerall, and they interviewed Daggy, and I tell you what, I've heard a lot of quarterbacks interviewed in my life. He's the most confident quarterback.
He's sharp.
In a press conference I've ever seen. He basically said, I prepare like I'm the starter. I study film. He said, I knew I'd be ready to go. He was just like the most confident guy you could ever ask for as a backup quarterback. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I think he's struggling tremendously. He's been a starter. He said, from Bowling Green to West Virginia for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And he's not used to being a backup quarterback. You can tell he wants to play.
And this is his last hurrah. This is his last year of eligibility.
Yeah, this is his 6th year.
Mike, recap what he did Saturday to help Troy win the football game.
Well, I mean, he came in, I guess, at the end of the fourth quarter and went 7 for 8 for 2 touchdowns, 1 to Barber, 1 to Tez Johnson. But I will say that it was interesting. He said he knew the guy on Western Kentucky, the defensive back, tendencies on that throw he made to Tez Johnson for the touchdown that he knew kind of, I guess, throwing against him in practice when he was at Western Kentucky for that short amount of time. That where he wanted to go to with the ball. He literally said he checked off.
I cannot get over that.
Line of scrimmage and made that throw.
Yeah.
Well, as a coaching staff, you got to love to hear stuff like that. Right?
Oh yeah. Of course, he threw a 16-yard touchdown pass to Barber, the kid from Dothan, and then of course
I tell you what, Coach Summerall loves Barber. He talks about him nonstop.
Yeah. And Troy, Tez Johnson, who is just weighs only 150 pounds but can fly, and he caught a 10-yard pass from
He's a kid from Pinson Valley. He's been really good for the last couple of years.
And a good program up there. In fact, my buddy's dad coached him, didn't he?
Yeah, Patrick Nix might have coached him.
Yeah, Patrick Nix coached him, and now Patrick Nix is...
Well, yeah, it depends. Patrick Nix has been in Central Phoenix City for a while, but yeah, he probably coached him when he was like maybe 9th, 10th grade, maybe.
Yeah, well, maybe so. And
after that, the coach was the former Alabama All-American Sam Shade.
Yeah, you're right. Troy...
Now Sam Shade's the head coach at Miles College.
Done a good job, too. But I was looking at the... Troy is receiving. Stoudemire is starting to come around and show his
yeah, he's been really good this year.
He caught 7 passes for 93 yards, and Tez Johnson caught 6 passes for 105. And Barber, though, Mike, he only caught 3 passes for 23 yards.
Well, I think it's just the overall, the blocking, the leadership he's shown.
Yeah.
Troy needs to get that big tight end back from Robbie Lee. That's DeAndre Lewis that was really good last year. Big physical tight end, like 6'6", about 250, and can really jump and catch.
Yeah.
The kid they got in from Sanford, they barely thrown the ball to. The tight end, Michael Blythe.
Yeah.
He was all conference at Sanford.
Yeah.
And, he's the guy that had 130, 140 receiving yards against Florida last year.
Mike, to tell people...
I'm surprised they haven't got him the ball more.
Yeah. Troy got 25 first downs, but Western Kentucky had 29 first downs. And
Troy didn't get the strip sack by Juvenile. He knocked the ball loose. They had the ball at the 32. A lot of people thought it was going to go into overtime.
Yeah, and then of course,
or does he go into overtime there? Does Helton go for it and try to win the game?
I don't know. You're right. Helton, was he the real tall guy on the sideline?
Yeah.
He looks like his daddy.
His He played quarterback in Houston.
And he looked like the Love Doctor.
Yeah, well, that's the son.
Yeah, I know it. And the Love Doctor used to coach at Houston, didn't he?
Well, yeah, his brother also coached at USC and now at Georgia Southern.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'll tell you what, I hated it over the weekend. UAB was a double-digit favorite at Rice again and got beat by Rice. The second straight season, 28-24.
Boy, I hate that.
Ryan Vincent's struggling.
He sure
UAB
is.
Supposed to win the league, and they're only 2-2.
He sure is, and hopefully they'll rebound and get going again. Brian Vincent
I just don't understand. I mean,
used to coach at Charles Henderson High School.
Clark's already had the surgery, the UAB coach, and I don't understand why he just didn't ask to sit out a year and come back as the head coach. But he left the program. Somebody will pick him up.
Oh, I tell you, he's an outstanding coach. And
I tell you what, that South Alabama coach looks good.
Boy, he really does.
Boy, they just won at Lafayette. I think South Alabama's 4-1, should be 5-0.
Yeah.
They lost that heartbreaking game to UCLA. Then UCLA blows out Washington.
Yeah, they sure do. Yeah. Just looking at some of the scores from last weekend, the Appalachian State rebounded with a 49-0 win over the Citadel. Clemson beat North Carolina State 30-20, and Clemson looks pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, they're a lot better than they were last year offensively. The DJ Umale at quarterback's playing better.
Now, Coastal Carolina, the Sun Belt, beats Sun Belt foe Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern played them tough, though, 34-30.
Yeah, I thought they would. That was a high line. I tell you, the shocker of the day is Georgia State had not won a game. They go to Army and I think win by 14 points.
I know it, and Troy's got Army down the stretch.
Yeah.
Duke, Mike, they've got a new coach now, and he scored 38 points against Virginia's 17.
Yeah, Mike Elko, he was the former defense coordinator at A&M as their head coach. First time as a head coach.
At Texas A&M?
He was defense coordinator at A&M last year, but this is the first time he ever got a head coach.
Boy, they need him. They need him back, don't they?
He's turned Duke around, though.
Yeah, I know it. East Carolina 48, South Florida 28. Jacksonville State, they won on 35-28 in overtime over Kennesaw.
Jack State's still playing 1AA.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah. James Madison just walloped Texas State 40-13. So
yeah, Texas State coach will get fired this year. He's never had a winning season. Jake Spavital.
And
I'll tell you what, man, James Madison probably will win the league and won't be able to qualify for the championship or a bowl.
Yeah. They're now in the Sun Belt Conference.
Yeah, but they're transitioning, so they got to sit out 2 years.
Mike, I was wondering about their other sports, basketball and baseball. Are they good in that too?
Yeah, they've been good in basketball for a long time, but the women's softball team played in the College World Series 2 years ago.
Did they really? Uh-huh.
Yeah, really good.
Then, of course, Mike, LSU beat Auburn. The craziest thing about this, Auburn leads 17-0 at the half. They're playing lights out on defense, and then they started second half saying they don't do anything. I mean, offensively, they don't do anything.
Well, yeah, they had turnovers too. I watched a little bit of it last night. LSU scores right before the half, a big touchdown, and I really think that was the difference in the game. I literally scored with about 5 seconds left. The coach at 3.
They're making him look like a great coach.
I think Kelly is a pretty good coach.
He must be. He's a nice guy, looks like.
I don't know if he's a nice guy.
No. He looks like a type guy that you could walk down on the field and talk to.
No, you're talking about a guy that'll get in a referee's lap. He's intense.
He's a real. He's
he's fiery, man.
All right.
I mean, that guy's won everywhere he's been. Shoot, he won at Cincinnati. He won at Central Michigan.
Yeah.
Won at Notre Dame. Now he's winning at LSU.
Probably the biggest win of the weekend, the surprise win, was Georgia Tech going to Pittsburgh and beat them 26-21. What happened there?
That's an interesting story there. That the interim coach at Georgia Tech is Brent Key. So Brent Key was the offensive line coach at Alabama under Saban, and everybody was shocked when he left to go to Georgia Tech. That's where he played college ball.
Yeah.
Under the old man George O'Leary. But Brent Key's from Hewitt Trustful in Birmingham, and I was good friends with a guy that went to Trustful, and we used to hang out with him a lot. Him and Brent Key were good friends. So I was happy to hear that. I met Brent when I was in sporting goods business, and he was a really nice guy. So that's a big win for him, and who knows? Maybe he gets them on the run.
Yeah,
and maybe
that's right. Well, how old is he? He's got to be young, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's probably 40.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Marshall bounced back and beat Gardner-Webb 28-7. Maryland, I told you all about Maryland. They beat Michigan State 27-13. Maryland, people are really got to be upset at Michigan State.
Yeah, they're struggling, especially when they're paying that coach $10 million a year.
I mean, that's the craziest thing in the world. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, Tua, little brother, Talua, had a good year for Maryland. He was pretty good last year, led them to a bowl. I'm happy. I liked Loxley when he was at Alabama as offense coordinator. I'm happy that he's doing well at Maryland.
Yeah. Syracuse continues to win, and, somebody's got to get – I'm sure they'll be beaten a couple of times.
Yeah, they've had a great year under Dino Babers. They got another transfer. He played at Mississippi State, was starting quarterback there, and played at Syracuse last year. This big, tall guy named Schrader.
Yeah, he's a quarterback, isn't he?
Yeah.
And where did he?
I mean, it's so crazy. College football. I mean, everybody's been everywhere now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so amazing watching the games.
Yeah.
I mean, Alabama star running back Gibbs played at Georgia Tech last year.
Exactly. That's right. They knew what they were doing when they got him.
They said this is hard to believe, but they can clock players when they run in games. And like Derrick Henry will get up to like 21 miles an hour. They said Jamal Gibbs, the Alabama running back, the fastest they clocked a player this year running with the ball at 22.9 miles an hour. That means he's faster than anybody clocked in the pros or college.
Oh, God.
22.9 miles an hour.
And all he does is run the daylight. That's what he did twice, And that was something.
Alabama, center got hurt. Seth McLaughlin came back in, and he's the guy that played well against Georgia in the SEC championship game and against Auburn last year. And everybody felt like he did a better job opening up big holes. He might be the better option in center anyway.
We're waiting for a call from Max Howell today, and we'll find out who he liked this past week. Liberty beat Old Dominion 38-24. So, and Old Dominion is in our conference now, and Liberty is in the Conference USA.
That's right. Our joining Conference USA.
Does this Memphis look like a pretty good team? They beat Temple 24-3.
Yeah, that's fun.
Ole Miss against Kentucky. Kentucky should have won that game. What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I watched that whole game. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe Ole Miss was a 7-point favorite. But Kentucky has the ball late. Levis throws a touchdown pass. You think they've taken the lead. They call a procedure penalty on Kentucky. Next play, Levis drops back and gets stripped with the ball, sacked by Ole Miss. Ole Miss recovers, wins the game. But before that, on the previous drive, Kentucky was down there too, and ended up fumbling then because Levis scrambled. Obvious targeting penalty. I mean, the guy hit Levis, lowered his helmet, should have been targeting, caused Levis to fumble, but they didn't call targeting, and Ole Miss stopped him there too. So Ole Miss got very, very lucky, and Kentucky missed 2 extra points and a chip shot field goal.
Oh boy, that had a lot to do with it. Ole
I
Miss.
tell you what, Kentucky is good on defense. Summerall, I mean, I'd like to have him on the show. I mean, talk about Troy, but also on Kentucky. I mean, they really recruited some top-notch guys on that defense.
Yeah. And then let me tell you this: their defensive coordinator is a former Troy University player from Jordan Leslie.
No, Leslie.
No, he's at West Virginia, isn't he? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Here's your games this week. Though you got
No. Let's finish this up real quick. Just a second. Mississippi State, high in the world, they scored 42 points on Texas A&M.
Gee, they got a great offense.
And
I was at a wedding, and everybody there, this is horrible to say, 3 or 4 guys from Mississippi State guys, they had their phones out at the table during the reception. They were watching Mississippi State A&M. Me and another guy, was an Alabama grad, was watching Alabama Arkansas on our phone. Yeah. And then later in the night, my wife kept on trying to find me to go dance on the dance floor, and I'm out there listening to Troy on the radio. So, needless to say, we were not being very good to our wives. We were still trying to keep up with football games.
Did you stay with Troy the whole time?
I listened pretty much the whole fourth quarter.
Yeah. Before we...
a lot of people don't realize you can go on TroyChoices.com. It doesn't matter where you are. As long as you have cell service, you can tap on the little radio icon and hear Barry McKnight and Jerry Miller live over your phone.
Oh, gosh. Well, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, so that made it a lot more exciting to be able to listen to.
But Mike, you told me that Sunday that you were out and about and you ran into 33333.
Yeah, I ran into Stuart Vance, another lawyer from Montgomery named Roman, and they were in town with their daughters to go see this rock star that everybody loves, this guy named Harry Styles. He's kind of like a David Bowie. But Harry Styles was playing concerts at the University of Texas for 6 straight nights, and their daughters were such big fans, they flew them from Montgomery to Austin, Texas, to go hear him live in concert, and they were at the JW Marriott, was next to the Fairmont Hotel where we were staying.
How did you know that? How did you know that was 3333?
He started talking about Alabama, and somehow the conversation, the bartender said she had lived out in Los Angeles, and I started laughing. I said, well, L.A. is lower Alabama, and then they heard that. Then the conversation started about Alabama. Where are you from? And he said he was from Troy, and then I said, I'm Mike Amos, and he started laughing. I said, I know who Mike Amos is. I said, well, I'm Little Michael.
33333.
Yeah, he was a great guy. We talked a lot about Troy, a lot about Alabama.
Yeah.
And his dad doing radio stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He said he went to Charles Henderson and was around the same age as like Bill Rice, and he was there when Jeffco won the state championship.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. That's right. But I had to get that in today.
Real nice guy. We went over there. I shook his hand after we were sitting at a bar together, and Lee and I, my wife and I, went over and shook his hand, talked to his friend, and we had a good conversation.
And that was where
in Austin, Texas, of all places.
And Mike, tell me about what did the University of Texas surprise you?
Yeah, I mean, I was blown away. I mean, it was just a beautiful campus.
They only have 60,000 students.
Yeah, it's really pretty there because they have live oak trees just like we have here.
Yeah.
Actually, in Grayton, and the live oak trees are just all over campus, and tons of beautiful, statues and fountains, and of course they have the big watchtower on campus.
Yeah,
right in the middle of it.
Years ago, a guy went up on top of that.
The shooting happened. Yeah,
that's right. He had a shooting, and it killed several people.
But Darrell K. Royal Stadium ranks up there as one of the nicest I've ever seen from the outside.
Named after Darrell Royal.
They have a huge Hall of Fame building inside it with all kinds of statues out front, and then they have the facilities. The coaches' facilities are right there. They were breaking down all the tents and all the food trucks around the stadium. I mean, You could tell.
And this was on a Sunday. This was on a Sunday, wasn't it?
No, yeah, early Sunday morning about. My wife and I got there about 9 a.m. and walked around for about 2 hours.
And said that they were feeding people everywhere,
Yeah, tons of bars and restaurants and hotels. And I've been to a lot of places on Sunday as far as activity. And, man, everywhere you went was just packed. But you got to realize this is a town of 2.3 million people.
Yeah.
I mean, their skyline is massive.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of Nashville, Tennessee, but bigger, actually.
Uh-huh. Well,
you want to take our first break?
Well, one other thing before we get off of it. Manning has already signed or committed committed to Texas. Do you think he's going to make a difference out there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think Texas is still good. I think Texas, if they get their starting quarterback back, will probably win 10 games.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait and see.
Apparently, there's a late fumble against Texas Tech that really hurt them.
Yeah. We're going to take a short break. This show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass right here in Troy. And, of course, great savings right now on these brand new Nissan, the brand new, Ram trucks.
Dodge
and I tell you what, it's the best deal I've seen anywhere on a Ram truck right here in Troy, Alabama.
I think I saw a picture of Jason. He was at the Auburn game.
Oh, was he? Okay.
In the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle? We've got what you're looking for.
So come see us at Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Troy, and you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them. Protect them.
These teenage years can be tricky to navigate, especially when it comes to teaching my son about managing money. I'm thankful for helpful tools like Sidekick from Max. With Sidekick, requesting and rewarding money is easy. He can earn it by completing chores, making honor roll, or simply making a request from his own app. I love that I can easily monitor his purchases and set limits to help him learn to make smart choices with his spending, even on video games. Sidekick. Find it in your Max app.
Our wide selection of pre-owned vehicles looks so good, you'll think they're new.
So take the short drive to Bill Jackson Ford in Troy, where you too can experience the Jackson satisfaction.
Bill Jackson Ford, Troy, Alabama.
War Eagle! As the Auburn Tigers are getting ready to go against the #1 Georgia Bulldogs from Athens, Georgia. It's Auburn and Georgia this Saturday afternoon. Kickoff is at 2:30 on CBS. So get ready for the kickoff as Auburn goes to Georgia.
Actually, Alabama's #1 again.
Oh, but now just in one poll though. The other poll is Georgia's #1, isn't he? Is that right?
I don't know. I don't know if Alabama's #1 in vote or not. I don't have to look and see.
Yeah, I knew they were in one poll.
That game will be at 2:30, and then Bama, Texas A&M will be at 7 o'clock. Both games on CBS.
Are they? Is that Eastern time, Michael? Is that Eastern time or?
No, it's Central time.
All right, so it's 8 o'clock Georgia time then. Is that right?
Well, I mean, it would be 2:30 Alabama time. Yeah. I mean, Georgia's on the Eastern time, 3:30 Eastern. But yeah, we're only concerned about Central.
Yeah, I understand. But of course, should be a good ball game, and at the same time, I think Auburn plays Georgia early, and then the Alabama games. A lot of people will be watching
they're
it.
both on CBS. You got 2:30 and 7:00.
Yeah, that's right. So.
I'm sure Alabama will probably have the horrible Gary Danielson to listen to.
I don't know why y'all say that about him. I think he's good. I think he adds.
I don't know, man. He's pretty annoying. And if you're an Alabama fan, he does not seem like he cares for Alabama.
Michael, it's just the opposite with me. I think he overdoes it a little bit.
But it's going to be interesting to see how Alabama comes out. I mean, if Bryce Young doesn't play, it'll definitely be a more interesting ball game.
Mm-hmm.
Can't believe that line's at 24.
Yeah. What do you think? It should be lower or higher?
Well, I mean, if Bryce Young doesn't play, I think it should be lower. Lower. I mean, it's not like A&M's absolutely horrible. I mean, Arkansas they beat.
I know.
They beat Miami, and they beat. They got beat by App State, and they got blown out by Mississippi State. But
yeah,
I don't know, man. They got every player on their team's a 5-star.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but
you never. The scary thing is you never know when they're going to play their first really complete ball game.
Yeah.
All right, so Troy Southern Miss. Oh man, that's not good. They're going to 6 o'clock, so they'll be going head to head with Alabama.
Well, not head to head. You're talking about an hour distance, Michael.
I know, but you're talking about everybody watches Auburn. Auburn game will probably be a blowout, I would guess, by the fourth quarter. And then you lead up into the Alabama game. I'm just saying it's tough when you got Auburn playing a big game at Georgia, and you got Alabama at home again.
Let me put you on hold, Mike. I'll be back with you. You on Today in L.A.? How you doing?
Hey, Mike. Will Matthews.
Will Matthews. All right, Will. I'm gonna try to bring Mike in. So please hold on.
All right.
Let's see here. Well, let's see here. One more. All right, we got you on there. Is that right, Will? Got Mike on there too?
Yeah, you got me.
And we got somebody's trying to come in right now, but I'm gonna just say
you got Max calling in.
Yeah, we got Max calling in. Let's see if we can get him right here. All right, let's see. We got you, Max. We got Will Matthews, and then of course Mike Amos. We lost Max. We'll get him in a minute. Need one more line. Of course, Will Matthews calling in from Ozark this morning. What do you got going? Will has got some great football games this weekend.
Would you ever believe before the year started that Alabama would be a 24-point favorite over Texas A&M?
I know it.
And Georgia would be a 30-point favorite over Auburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that actually. That is shocking. That's got to be the highest line ever. That's got to be the highest line ever in that game.
Yeah, and would you believe that Tennessee would be on the road and be a favorite over LSU?
I know it. That surprised me too. What is that line?
Mississippi State would be an 8-point favorite over Arkansas. You would never.
I know it. You're right. You're right.
Hey, what? I kind of like LSU at home to play Tennessee pretty tough.
Yeah, and they're playing good defense.
I mean, Tennessee. I think Tennessee's back, but I don't know if they're that back yet.
Yeah.
They'll go in and blow out LSU at LSU.
No, I don't think they'll blow them out, but I think they'll win. That quarterback's really good.
Yeah, but they got to get ready for Alabama the next week. So it's gonna be that's gonna be a tough stretch for Tennessee.
Yeah, but it's going.
That Tennessee overtime win against Pittsburgh doesn't look that great anymore.
No, it doesn't.
And then you got Florida coming back and almost winning late on that onside kick against them. I don't know if Tennessee's as great as anybody makes them out to be.
Well, we're gonna find out. And I would think, that LSU will have a good plan for them,
Brian Kelly's a good coach.
Yeah. And
I think Heupel's done a great job at Tennessee, though. I mean, that ended up being a really good hire for Central Florida.
Yeah, that's right.
But and it's funny they got him from Central Florida. You know, Nebraska got
all right.
Frost from Central Florida. Nobody wants.
All right, now I'm gonna do my best to bring in Max Howell. Wait a minute.
I don't know if he can do all three.
I'll try. Let's see. We got all right. Let's see here. Conference. All right, we got that one. That one. All right, we're trying to get them all in, Max. All right, wait a minute. All right, let's see here.
You can't do it. I'll defer to Max.
Wait a minute. Oh, well. We just, there we go. All right, who we
Max
got?
is on, I think.
Yeah. Max, are you on? Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, is that you, Max?
That's me.
All right, buddy. How you doing? I'm trying to get Mike on here now. Oh, gosh. Man, oh, man. We were trying to get 3 and can't get but 2. All right, here we go. Max Howell is on our line, and Will, you off and Mike's on. Is that right?
You got me.
Yeah. Good morning, Max.
Got me.
I don't understand why. You'll never understand. We can't get 3 calls on
Yeah, I know it. I don't know why. Max Howell is our guest. Of course, one of the best football analysts in the country, and. Max, you're awfully busy this time of year, aren't you?
Well, listen, Mike, it is. I had a chance to talk the other day just a little. I tried to cut back, but I got so many friends in this business now. You guys are right at the top of that list. And, I love to be on the air. You know that. But I squeeze it in. I try to do a couple of shows a day during the week, or just during football season. And I try to get up early in the morning or right around lunch. Is when I try to work those in. So, but it's a fun time of the year.
Well, one of your favorite telephone guests is Wimp Sanderson, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I do his show every Monday morning from 7:30 to 8.
And a lot of people, of course, he's a great basketball coach at Alabama. But hey, he is quite an analyst. People say that he's one of the best around.
No, I guarantee he does. He works at it now.
Yeah,
he really does. I mean, he follows the teams. He follows the lines out of Vegas. He's knowledgeable.
Yeah. And you know something else about old Wimp, and ladies and gentlemen, this is something that very few people have. Wimp knew Barry Bryant personally. Bear hired him, didn't he?
Mike, his house is probably 5,000 square feet up on the mountain in Birmingham.
Yeah.
The whole second floor is one open room, and it's like a museum.
Oh, I bet.
Shoes, and he's got footballs. He's got autographed memorabilia from everybody in the country.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's something. He's got like 3 or 4 big screen TVs in one room.
Well,
yeah, he does the show with Barry, his son. So
right.
Their father and son show as well.
Is he a wealthy man?
Quite well.
I think Wimp did pretty well.
Yeah.
Wimp was real close to Jimmy Rain and Great Southern Wood. He did those commercials for years too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, he's still best friends with him.
Yeah.
In fact, he's a major sponsor of that radio show.
Yeah. And of course,
Max, you finally saw Mississippi State step up and win a big game and win big.
They did.
A&M.
Yeah. I was absolutely surprised. The way they won it is what surprised me. To see that, we'll get a chance to see if they can maintain that.
Again though, you listen to him on his talk shows and everything. He sounds like he don't know what he's talking about. He'd rather talk about something else other than football. It seems like.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Well, see, he teaches an academic class at Mississippi State on top of that.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah, and he's got a law degree.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Again, it all started.
I thought about you, Max. I was at a wedding in Austin, Texas, and the girl getting married was Mississippi State grad, and all her friends were from Corinth, Mississippi. And then the guy I was hanging out with that was good friends with my wife, his wife was good friends with my wife, was from Brandon, Mississippi.
Yeah.
So I was hanging out with a bunch of Mississippi folks this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Everybody had their phones out watching the game.
Yeah, they get out of the state occasionally. Not too often.
I tell you what, Ole Miss, I mean, what can you say? They survived against Kentucky. I guess that's the best way to say it. Kentucky had 2 chances to win late. But Lane Kiffin's finding a way to win.
Lucky. He got some at Auburn luck.
He's the fastest coach since Johnny Bolton to get to 20 wins. Since he's been there. So he's got a chance. But, they bumped him from $4 million to $7.5 this last year. So it's going to take somebody to go after him, which there are. It's going to take probably $10 million a year to get him out of there.
I tell you what, I'm getting this.
What are you hearing? Where do you think he might land if he left?
Auburn?
He's going to stay a while, Michael, because it's really easy to recruit to Oxford because of the grove, because of tradition. Not so much football tradition, but university tradition. And of course, they redshirt Miss Americans over there. They had 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah.
That came
I tell you what, I think they redshirt Miss Americas at Texas too. My God, all of Texas. I thought I saw some pretty girls in Oxford, but Austin, Texas was everywhere.
But let me tell you something. He could be a rich man if he went to Auburn. First of all, they'll pay him $10 million a year, and then they'll have a buyout for him later on for $20 more million. So he'll make $30 million if he went to coach at Auburn.
Like everybody else is too, though.
Hey, everybody, they don't care about their record. In fact, they hope they lose so that they'll get a buyout.
I read a statement this morning. A guy was kind of watching the ball game this Saturday. And was kind of projecting why Hartson didn't do this and Hartson didn't do that. And the bottom line says he's afraid if he wins, he has to stay another year.
Well, this guy that I was reading on, McElwain, the total package was $27 million. Now, is that right?
Yeah, I believe that's
is
right.
It some of your
Just got 21. So,
Oh, Gus is sitting back having the time of his life.
Yeah, you'll better watch Gus and Chip Lindsey tonight, coach at Central Florida.
Yeah, okay, Chip.
Max, you coached my quarterback. You ever seen a quarterback like Alabama's backup? That guy looks like an outside linebacker. He's
he does.
Good-looking athlete.
I'm gonna tell you, that's the physical side that really needs to play for Alabama or any Division I that's trying to win a championship. Because he's got to be flushed out of the pocket. He's got to be able to run. He's got to be able to take a beat. We saw that with Tua because of the slight structure. We saw it, of course, Tua's been down again. But we saw it now with Bryce Young. The 6 feet, 180-pound guy has a hard time surviving in the league, particularly in the Southeastern Conference.
But will you lose a 5-star? You gain a 5-star, and if he gets hurt, you gain another 5-star. The coach's son from Tennessee.
Yeah.
I ain't been too impressed with him, though. I'll be honest with you. I don't know where you.
Yeah, Alabama against A&M could struggle though. I mean, A&M's got talent. They haven't really shown it yet, but
they have been coached, Michael. They have been coached.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see though what Alabama does if Bryce Young doesn't start. Will they, lean towards the run the majority of the time, or will they try to throw the ball?
They're going to run the football. I mean, how could you not run it when you got 3 plays over 70 yards in a short period of time like they did, this past against Arkansas? I mean, they got to run the ball. And Bill O'Brien will come up. And I like Odom as a defensive coordinator at Arkansas, but the fact is I think he overcoached ball overran the play, and he just cut back. It was 50 yards.
You know, hey, I tell you what, he reminded me of some of those Oklahoma running backs. You remember how they used to run back? They used to run back against the grain. You know, they were the worst.
They were good at that. Very good.
You know, Gibbs is the closest thing to Alvin Kamara for the Saints I've ever seen, as far as being able to run and catch out of the backfield. He's gonna make millions and millions of dollars in the NFL.
Well, if he can stay healthy, that's the whole key right there.
Well,
that's what Alabama's been able to do as far as the recruiting is concerned. Of course, they already lining up now to be the number one recruiting class in 2023 with the number of commitments they've got already. But I think back to your question. My opinion, that kid, the number 4 kid, the second quarterback, is the prototype physical specimen. He's 6'3", he's 220, runs about a 4.5. He can throw it. So all they got to do. I was a little disappointed in when he had to come in after Bryce went down. They kind of looked completely disorganized, if you remember the first 2 or 3 plays. And I credit that for not having enough practice together with the two.
Yeah.
And I think I can almost guarantee you they practice that from here on out. They don't let that out. That frustrated Coach Saban like I hadn't seen it since Lane Kiffin was his quarterback. Because remember, he got on the boat when they got down there and tried to throw the ball in the end zone. You know he Bill O'Brien's ear full. Run the ball in, don't throw it in. So anyway, it was a good ball game. And Alabama rehab. I worry a little bit about Arkansas. They've had 2 tough games back to back. They got to go start with this weekend.
Max, quite a they definitely shut down Arkansas's quarterback, and when you do that, it's over. I mean, they think that he won't even play against Mississippi State. Yeah, that's the word I got today. Yesterday. Yeah, because
Max, you got to be extremely proud, and I mean, I'm kind of shocked and amazed. What an amazing job John Summerall's already done at Troy. I mean,
absolutely.
He goes on the road to beat a really good Western Kentucky team after beating a Marshall team at home that beat Notre Dame. Should have beat App State. App State wins in a miracle. Troy should be 4-1 with their only loss on the road at Ole Miss right now.
But you know they're playing an Alabama boy. They're playing an Alabama boy this week. That when he was at the University of North Alabama, he was a quarterback of 3 national championships in a row at North Alabama.
Yeah, but I think Will Hall's from Mississippi originally.
Well, he's from Amos, right down the road from me.
Okay, I got you. Now you would think they'd run some option because of what he did in college, you know.
Well, you know, I wouldn't rule that out. I mean, listen, he was 3-9 his first year. He's already lost a couple this year. This is a big game. I mean, it's a big game for him and for Troy as well.
Yeah.
Troy can get this one, which probably should be favored in that game.
Yeah.
They're 6.5, 7-point favorite.
Right. I figured it'd be close, but they got to play well. Will's a good football coach. He came out of Texas. He was a Hall of Famer in the state of Mississippi as a high school coach. He grew up on the sidelines, and Mike, like you said, he was a high school All-American. He was a junior college All-American. He was an All-American in Division II.
Yeah.
So he's got the credentials.
Yeah.
You know, to
sharp guy. Always dresses sharp. You know, most time he always has a red sweater on.
Yep. He fits well for what Southern did.
Yeah.
I think Jeremy did a good job hiring him.
Yeah.
He's one of the few coaches I think that still wears a tie.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's real sharp.
You know, I was impressed with Troy being able to hold Western Kentucky in the 20s. Western Kentucky has been in the 30s, Dad, 18 straight games.
Oh man, until they played Troy.
Troy held them to less points than anybody has in 18 straight games.
Yeah.
Well, that's Summerall's came off the defensive side of the ball. I mean, that's what he does.
Yeah.
So, I was proud to see.
And I'll tell you what, he gets in those he gets in those official lap now. I'll tell you.
He does that.
and believe it or not, I've officiated against the little high school teams or whatever. When a coach does get in your lap like that, you don't know what to call. so
You know who the first one I ever noticed did that? Was Will.
yeah, snarl. He snarled at him.
I'm telling you, he worked the officials as hard as he did.
and when he had to make the big call, he got it pretty much.
He's right. He broke them down. What he did.
He said, "When is that guy gonna shut up? When is that guy gonna shut up?"
And that's a judgment call by the official.
Yeah.
And a guy that's already been pretty successful, they're gonna be reluctant.
Yeah.
How many times have you ever seen him throw the flag over the safety?
Yeah, you're right, very few times.
I mean, once you've established yourself, and I tell you, another one was the world's worst was Gene Stallings.
Oh, he was. Hey, listen. He was. They say that he got personal with him.
Well, he did. Listen, Mike. They even had the Stallings rule about what you could call.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And everybody looks at Gene Stallings as a real gentleman, but when they kicked off, he wasn't a real gentleman anymore.
He would chew out his assistant coaches too.
Oh, big time.
Oh yeah.
That's one thing about college and coaching right now, Max. You see Paul Chris just gets fired at Wisconsin, got blown out by Illinois. Brett Belva came in there and beat his old school. Paul Chris was 67-26 as a head coach.
They ought to be ashamed of themselves. They ought to be ashamed of themselves.
Well, they fire him after losing to Illinois. I mean, you're seeing coaches now lose their job 2 or 3, 4 games into the season.
Right.
College football's changed when it comes to that.
Well, what? One of the things that changed it, Michael, was early signing period. Because
that's true.
About that, still hadn't made the amount of. That's what I think they could be yesterday on the show about Hartson and Auburn. If they're going to do it, they need to go and do it because Auburn's going to lose some recruits between now and signing day if he stays over. Because the kids don't know what they're going to put Auburn's going to do.
Oh man.
The problem is, though, Max, is Auburn has no recruits really.
Well, you know why?
Let me tell you this. Why have look since they've got this other deal? Why even worry about recruiting? You want players that can help.
The attitude they got, Mike. But look, guys, step back there. Let's just talk a little bit about Auburn. You tell me, from a fan's perspective, why if I was shaking on my job for whatever reason, and you got a kid like number 4, like Digby, and you run him 9 times in one ball game, I'd run him 25 or 30 times in a ball game because he's as good a running back as there is in the country. Regardless of his offensive front, he still pick up yardage. So that tells you quickly something inside that organization is not very sound. And the other side of that is, one of my best friends in Birmingham is a public relations guy for the largest high school in Birmingham. It was 3 state national state championships.
Alabaster.
They had 9 Division I signees last year.
Alabaster, yeah.
You know how many times Auburn visited their campus? 0.
Isn't that unreal?
Yeah, you tell me what.
Oh boy, I tell you, it's crazy.
Yeah, if Hartman loses to Georgia, his overall record at Auburn will be 9-10.
Right.
9-10 is not going to cut it at Auburn.
Oh no.
No. Well,
but we called this before the season. I mean, Dad, I told you point blank. I don't know how they. I mean, 6-6 was the best I saw.
Well, I didn't.
And let's just be honest. The Missouri game, that ought to have been a loss 3 or 4 times.
It was a loss. Yeah, it was a loss.
For them to be 3-2, 5 straight home games. Now you got to go play Georgia. Georgia is going to be mad as all get out the way they played against Missouri. Right. I don't see Auburn pulling the upset.
Max, that Auburn Georgia game though, the way the ball bounces over the years, you don't ever see Georgia blow Auburn out. It's going to be a heck of a game.
That's just starts it, but Mike, normally Georgia has been number 1 in the country, in 40 years.
Yeah.
And 30-point favorites.
And you're right, Mike. They are number 1 in both polls. Alabama is.
Right. Yeah, but the fact is that they dropped because of the poor showing against Missouri.
They were very lucky to win that game, Max. You watched that?
Absolutely. No, I didn't watch it, but I followed the highlights of it. But I mean, I just keep seeing the way Auburn is eternally right now. You let Georgia get up 2 or 3 touchdowns, I think they kind of roll over and quit. I think the score's going to be outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
I really do believe that Kirby will run it up over just for the.
Well, he's got to get his faithful back on his side, which I don't think has been offered. But down, if I'm a Georgia fan, I wouldn't be real happy right now.
Well, you're right. That's something not. I mean, remember they had 2 backs. They didn't do very well against Kent State the week before. To go up to Missouri, this around up there as well. So they got them all coming back home against the longest running, rivalry in the South. What, how many times, 100 years or whatever?
Yeah, that's right.
They ever played it. So, we'll get a chance to see.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out a lot about Tennessee. We're going to find out a lot about Mississippi State against Arkansas.
I'll tell you one thing we found out is Oklahoma's not very good.
I know it. Can you believe that? That is the worst defense in the world. I tell you, it was unreal.
And that guy's a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I know it. I know it. Hey, where did this defensive guru come from?
Oklahoma and Texas will play this weekend. Neither one of them are ranked.
Oh, man.
Very true. But
I tell you what, old Texas put it on West Virginia, Neil Brown, though. I looked at the score, and it was 28-0. I was just like, man. Neil's got some major issues at West Virginia. I don't know if he'll keep his job.
Hey, I bet you he wishes he had Troy's quarterback back.
The Daggy kid?
Yeah, that day.
JT Daniels had been pretty good until that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it's one of those things over A&M. A&M can't find a quarterback. Texas had a great quarterback that got hurt against Alabama, but it's hard to believe that Jimbo Fisher, a guy that coached Jameis Winston at Florida State, won a national championship.
Now, wait a minute. How much coaching did he do?
I know, but I'm just saying that he knows what it takes to win in college with a great quarterback. I mean, how do you wind up with those? How do you wind up with those 2 guys?
It's $500,000.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
I know. I mean, I heard there was a bag man involved.
Well,
but I mean, aren't you shocked though? He went with Kellen Mond for all those years.
That's true.
At A&M, and he was a very average quarterback. And then he's got the Johnson kid, and he's got the Haynes King kid. Neither one of those guys are good quarterbacks.
But you know what? There was a good kid out of Texas. The King kid was the number 1 quarterback in the state of Texas that year. That they said.
Yeah.
So
man, I tell you what, that Texas quarterback they got from Ohio State that played against Alabama before he got hurt, he's the real deal.
Yep.
Well,
if you go back and examine the whole thing, just remember the guy that brought Jimbo to Texas A&M was the same guy that brought Hugh Freeze to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So you just got to remember there's a lot of other things.
Oh yeah, that's right. Same athletic director. Yeah.
That's right.
Let me say this. Does this Manning kid gonna change his mind?
I doubt it.
Because of the quarter.
That kid could be hard to beat out.
So that means the Texas guy, if Manning comes in and gets the job, the Texas guy will be on the portal, wouldn't he?
I probably so.
Oh, there's no doubt.
And
Archie Manning's already got $3 million at the bank.
Yeah.
On IHL.
Oh
yeah,
boy.
They can pay a high school kid name, image, and likeness. Yeah, that's right. Can't do it in Alabama, Max. That's probably hurt these Alabama kids. You think we're ever going to see kids leave programs to go get paid?
That's right. I would think so.
Some will. Some will. I mean, I don't think that. I've not seen, Michael, I've not seen a list of the states. It's a half a dozen states around the country that's allowing high school kids to. I think California's one that's allowing the high school kids to pick up those dollars.
Well, Max, let's take a look at it. Arkansas at Mississippi State. Mississippi State should win that game, you would think, but Arkansas probably matches up pretty good with them, don't they?
Well, if Jefferson doesn't play, and he's moving right now not to play, he's hurt.
Yeah.
He got hurt against Alabama. So if he doesn't play, then Arkansas is going to be up the creek. I heard.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the West could be determined in Mississippi State, and Ole Miss this year.
Oh yeah, well both of them are doing a real good job. The Egg Bowl is going to be quite interesting, I think. I think that's going to draw a big crowd for Mississippi people.
Alabama's got to go to Ole Miss too to play.
Right, next week, I believe.
I'm going to get Tennessee next week.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's the week after. Yeah, they're pretty close right there. Yeah, they got to go to Knoxville and Oxford, I believe, back to back.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I guess with Bryce Young's injury, a shoulder injury like that, Max, I mean, Saban acts like he's had these before. I mean, you think this is something in a couple of weeks will be all right?
Well, I heard Jay Barker yesterday on the interview over here say that, they thought 2 weeks, he said they'll shoot him up, they'll shoot him up, get him ready. But any more damage can happen to him. And he'll have to throw through pain. But I look for, to be honest with you, I don't think he plays this week at all. I think he probably does not start against Tennessee, but he'd be available to play against Tennessee if they go in the second half. Tennessee's playing pretty hard. I look for Bryce Young to start.
I've got a big upset this week, and I've got to share it with you. Notre Dame playing BYU at Las Vegas. BYU gonna beat Notre Dame this week.
I don't know, man. I watched BYU against Utah State. Utah State was playing them pretty tough. BYU is not good against. They give up a lot of yards on the ground.
Yeah.
So if Notre Dame can run the ball at all, I think they'd beat BYU. I can't believe they're playing that game in Las Vegas in the Raiders Stadium there.
That's right.
Catholics against the Mormons.
They're playing in the biggest gambling facility.
Yeah, playing in Sin City. How crazy is that?
Right. Yeah.
Do you sometimes wish that Auburn wishes they had Bo Nix back?
Oh God, he looked good. He looked good again last week.
I know it. I watched him.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you another hypothesis about this thing. Look, Carson comes in. He runs off the legacy quarterback is Bo Nix, and he's trying to run off, in my opinion, because he's not playing Bigby. So what is the deal? He don't know anything that's associated with all the success, and both of them were to a certain extent before he got there. And of course, Dix leaves, and Bigby is to me the centerpiece of their offense anyway, and he never plays them. Is that some kind of conspiracy about his mental makeup that he wants to stay long enough to build it himself, which he's not going to do because all the people are not going to allow it to stay.
Something I read that Bo Nix went to a special coach during the off season. The summer went to a special coach that has changed his way of throwing the football, and they say now he's got a lot more velocity on the ball and is a better quarterback. Have you heard that?
Well, yeah, I have. And that doesn't surprise me because I think he found out pretty quick that the coaching staff that they inherited over there, that came in, the youth staff, was not going to improve his playing ability. So, his dad's a noted high school football coach in Alabama.
Okay, exactly. Max, quickly, what's for dinner?
Well, you know what, Mike? Last Saturday was open squirrel season.
Yeah.
I cooked 28 squirrels. You gotta love this guy. There was a 4-man team with honey. They killed 28 squirrels, all of them headshots.
Oh God. Oh yeah. Okay.
That way they didn't hurt the meat at all.
Uh-huh.
So, we had fried squirrel, coleslaw. We make an onion gravy, which is you stir fry your onions early. Then you flour and a little oil and about a cup of water.
Yeah.
You stir that gravy until it's thick and put it on white sliced bread. White sliced bread, fried squirrel, coleslaw, and then for dessert, Mississippi Bud Powder.
Oh, boy. Give me some of that squirrel now. I want some of that squirrel.
That's tasty. That's a delicacy.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite meals.
Max Howard, thank you so much for joining us. And, of course, Mike Amos from Grayton Beach. Beautiful down there, Mike? He's already left us, but have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow for our Pickett show. Guys. We're going to let you know who's going to win in high school and college football this coming weekend. Have a great day. Max.